Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Monday, October the 16th, 2017. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then set up our trade plans for the day. We do create multiple plans, or what we call hypotheses, in order to have a plan in place for whatever the market does. We do not know what the market is going to do. We have to wait and see who's in control and exercise the plan that best suits what the market is demonstrating to us. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website, there's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. We do everything here live in the go-to and then live trading and analysis during the course of the trading day. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. Okay, so on Friday, we had a great big huge range of 5.25 points. In the overnight session so far, we've had 4.5 points. The biggest thing that I want to point out, though, is the lack of volume. The last few days have been extremely low in volume. Friday, we only had 734,000 contracts in the RTH session. That's down, about 400,000 to 500,000 contracts from what is normal. Friday, we were looking for continuation and a break of the all-time high. We were looking for responsive selling into the value area and somewhere between the value area high and the VPOC. We were looking for initiative buyers to step back in, rotate us up, and go make a new all-time high. That is exactly what we did. We went in and hit this 55.50, put in a week high up here at 55.50, and basically just chopped and fought the range high for most of the day. Then we had that bit of a sell-off. It looked like they were going to give us a neutral day. They came down and hit the IB low to the tick, did not break it, and then rotated back up into the close and closed near the upper end of the lower distribution of this double distribution day. Another double distribution day. We keep seeing a lot of these as they base and then expand, base and then expand. The problem is they're doing it on no volume. They're doing it on very shallow counter rotations, and if you're not really good with your entries, it's getting very difficult to trade this market. I want to take a look at the economic calendar. There's not much going on this week in terms of news. We do have some earnings and some bigger names this week. I know Netflix is tonight. I think there's American Express, Goldman Sachs. There's a few that are there. I'm not going to bother going through it. You guys can check the earnings whisper yourself. But in terms of scheduled news, there's not a lot this week, especially today. We just had Empire State Manufacturing, which was a beat. We had Canadian foreign security purchases was a miss. Basically, right where we expected as far as foreign securities. Then at 10:30, we've got the Bank of Canada business outlook. That's about the biggest news on the day, really. We do have 3-month and 6-month bill auction at 11:30, and then we've got federal budget balance for September out sometime during the day. ECB speaker again today, and that's about it for news. I wanted to take a quick look at the Commitment of Traders report. This market is not ready to roll over yet. Who knows when it's going to roll over, but you can see that small spec and commercial are still net short, and it's the large spec, or what I believe is the algos, that are driving this market up on very low volume. I mean, basically, commercial and small spec are basically been inactive in this market, and with the low volume, the algos just continue to push this rally up. So I'm not saying that we can't see a dip, but I don't think we've seen the highs. We just put in a new unequalized all-time high in the Globex. Let me just expand this out for a second. You can see that we went up and hit a 56.50. Really nice FUBAR, Mr. Sneaky tech gap on that, putting in that high, and then we rotated 4.5 points, and that was basically the extent of the range overnight. So if you would have caught the FUBAR Mr. Sneaky tech gap, you basically would have caught the whole range overnight. Inventory is, about, I'd say almost 100% net long. We closed on the week at 52.50, and basically we only tick down, and then we've basically been expanding into new price territory. We're inside of Friday, the 55.50. Another boxy looking profile, a little bit of a double distribution overnight, 54.25 as the mid and the LVN. The number I'm going to be paying attention to, obviously, is going to be a warning line at the 52.75 area, but it's really going to be the 50 area that I'm going to be watching. That is going to be what I would call a temporary line in the sand. It's not like a huge line in the sand. Below 50, though, I think we can get a push down into that 48.75 and back into the balance that we're in. But let's just step back for a second. Let's take a look at the macro to micro. I always like to start my day with a simple candlestick chart. I use my toss paper money because I like the drawing tools on it. And what I'm looking at is I run a 9 EMA and a 20 SMA. I'm looking at slope and separation in the different time frames to see exactly where we are within the trend for that time frame, and then trying to see any chart patterns or candlestick patterns that might give me some type of an edge to add to my trades. You can see we've been in this upward sloping fork. We're in the upper channel. We still have room for expansion or a move back just to test the center line. Is going to take us back, down to the 24.25. This trend is incredible. Got good slope, good separation. Trend is very much intact on the monthly and the weekly. Going to the daily, you see that again, price is paralleling the 9 quite nicely. It looked like we were going to get a possible pullback to test the 9, but we're basically closing that through time rather than price, and no sign yet. The 55.45 area is going to be the first real test of this upward trend. Going into the intraday, we hit overnight. We finally hit our head and shoulder, our inverted head and shoulder target that we were looking at. Our target was 56.25. We got to 56.50, and basically going sideways. We've lost some slope and separation, but this trend is still very much strong, even on the 4 hour. As we go to the 1 hour, you can see that we came down. It looked like they were trying to get a trend change, and then they took it right back, and we're back above the 9 and the 20 right now, and getting a possible continuation pattern. Going to the 30-minute, we're going to be putting in a naked cross here if we hold above the 54. So watch for that. We just took out this naked cross that we created on the way down. Again, they've taken back possible trend change and looking for continuation pattern to the upside. On the 15-minute, you can see same thing, but we've got strong slope and separation. We've got a weak high here, a weak local high here at the 55 area, and it looks like they want to go up. Going into the 5-minute, same thing. We've got good slope, good separation. So as we move closer to the RTH, the trend is back in place so far and looking to continue. As we look at the big structure, so we're up near all-time highs. We went up and broke this weak high that we put in on Friday at 55.50. We put an unequalized high in at 56.50. So we've expanded in the Globex. So we've got, RTH needs to go and test that all-time high in order to equalize from the Globex to the RTH. We're outside of the 7-day value area. Our value area high is at 51.75. Our value area low is at 43.25. 43 to me is still the big key line in the sand, but I'm going to be watching that 50 area because it is the LVN between this little distribution node. The last 3 days, they're trying to hold value just at the value area high. So I'm just, I just got this little profile in here because I wanted to see, is, where we're accepting value higher to go into this price discovery. And that's right at the 52 area. And that's going to be my warning line because below that, then we're below the value area high of the microcomposite and likely to come down and test Friday's low down here at 50.25. And of course, that's going to be my temporary key line in the sand. The big one is still down at 43, no doubt about it. But the reason why I'm using this as a temporary key line in the sand because I think there's a trade below the 50 down to the 48.75 and the possibility of getting a move through value down to test that 43 area. I mean, this is still a pretty blunt area of the profile, and if they don't bounce off of the 48.50, that gives me the possibility of a trip through value and a move down to 43, and that's a nice 7-point trade. So that's why I'm using the 50.25 as my temporary key line in the sand and 52 or 51.75 as my over underline. Really can't be looking short anything above that because we've got unequalized all-time highs, and I'll be looking to buy the dips rather than trying to find a spot and try to short this market that just doesn't want to go up. Go down. So as we move our levels over, our overnight high and all-time high is at 56.50. I've been seeing a lot of this lately where our overnight high is the all-time high. Our overnight low is at 52. There's one tick in front of that VPOC. And again, this area right here is going to be my over underline. And then we do have the double distribution. This is going to be, I'm sorry, this is not my over underline. This is my over underline at 52.75. And then my temporary key line in the sand, and we'll just do that with the target here, is down here at the VPOC. Below that, I'm watching that sorry, I'm wrong. It's 50 that I'm looking at. And that is my, and I'm going to label it as a temporary because it is just temp. And targeting the 49s and the main target below, which is at 48.75. And that's the microcomposite VPOC. Whoa. And then we get the 46, and then the key line in the sand still stays down here at 43. Our 20-period daily ATR continues to shrink, so we are compressing still. And off of the high of 56.50, our 20-period daily ATR is running at 10.56. So our downside daily ATR target is, sorry, 56.50. Is at 46. And off of the low overnight, basically that would bring us up to 63. All right, and then we're going to be watching this this 55.50, the prior all-time high. And basically those are the levels. Nothing's really going to change. And, you know, right now the hypotheses aren't going to change much either. Because of how we're trading and where we're at, Hypo 1 and Hypo 2 are going to have equal weight or evenly even probability. So my Hypo 1 or you know, my plan A is an open auction in range, just out of value, finding responsive sellers rotating down into the 52 area, possibly even to the 50 or the 49, finding responsive buyers, rotating us back up and chopping around, creating a higher low, and then pushing up and going up and equalizing that all-time high and putting in a new all-time high. That is Hypo 1. Hypo 2, which is equally weighted, would be the opposite. Open auction, just in range, just out of value, pushing up initiative buyers into equalizing that all-time high, possibly a false breakout above the 55.50, somewhere between the 56 and 58, looking for responsive sellers to step in, rotate us back down into range, chop between the 53 and 55, and then push down and take out the overnight low and come down and close the gap and volume, and then basically just go sideways, maybe a late day probe down into the 50 and a quarter. That is Hypo 2, equally weighted to Hypo 1. Hypo 3 is an open test drive, either failure to take out the overnight low or overnight or the naked VPOC, maybe close the gap, but somewhere you know, within the 53 to 54 area, finding initiative buyers right away, taking us up, taking us out of range, chopping around above the range and going sideways as we inch higher and putting in a new all-time high. We have range capabilities all the way up into the 63. Right now our Keltner channel is very flat. It's sideways. We have range capabilities up to the 59 area. R1 for the day is at the all-time highs, so watch that as possibility of you know, the first rejection point. But if they break through, we've got expansion capabilities up to 59 and 63. Hypo 4 is going to be a sideways consolidation day again, and basically just chopping for the most part inside of the prior day, sometime taking out that 56, maybe getting a new all-time high, but settling back in around that this 3-day microcomposite VPOC in around the 52, but basically another very tight trading day. The alternative will be the start of a bigger takeback down to test the lower side of value down at that 43 area, and that would be failure to break out of the prior day range, a move down, take out the overnight low, fail, come down, chop between the 48.75 and the 50, and then fail, okay, and come down and test this daily downside ATR, and then a late day probe or liquidation break down into the 43, then basing and coming up and closing somewhere between 45 and 49. Those are my main hypotheses for the day. We do have gold back into the 1300s. Remember that our target on this move up is up here at 12 as the next destination. We're currently creating new balance above. So our 2-day balance is right here at the 1305 area. If we can get above this 130850, 1309, push is into this 1312 area, and we need to most likely see a move down in the indices for this to happen. Otherwise, we're likely just to go sideways. The level to watch below us, of course, is going to be the 1300. Below the 1300, we could probably take a trip back to the 1291.60 again. But this we've got a $45 rotation up, so a pullback and a test below 1300 is not without the realm of possibility, and the possibility of seeing that $10 to $15 rotation at this 45.60 area. This is generally when we'll see some type of a counter rotation. If 91 doesn't hold, then look for them to come all the way back down again into this 78, 79, 75 area. Anyway, gang, that's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we will catch you on the flip side.